Welcome, everybody. Welcome. So good to have you all here. This this sharing isn't about getting anything. It's pointing to the fact that there's already nobody inside the body to get anything. So this message isn't trying to do anything, improve anything, give you some knowledge. It's saying that there's just this, however it's appearing, is exactly it. We can call it wholeness. We can call it love. We don't have to call it anything. But it is always here. It doesn't move. This isn't trying to do anything. Like the wind. Is the wind trying to do anything? Or is it just blowing? So everything is just innocently happening all by itself. Nobody's doing any of it. And then it could be realized that you never were doing any of it all along. It was imagined, even could say as a child. Those memories were not yours, even though they felt like it. And so this can't be understood. This can't be explained simply because there's nothing separate from this that it could be explained to. There's just this, however it's appearing, whether it's confused, whether it's clear, whether it thinks it knows something, whether it's a, excuse me, whether it says, oh, I get it. I don't know anything. Well, there's just no one there to know anything. So there can seem to be knowing, right? I know how to go to the store. I know how to drive the car. So knowing can appear. It's just not yours. It doesn't belong to anyone. And that's the suffering, is that ownership. Ah. So this is an open meeting. Everybody's invited to share. If you have a comment or a question, something you'd like to share, please feel free to unmute and jump in. in a way, could say that the imaginary me that's not there, it just can't hear all is this. It just can't. All is this is there's just no exceptions. So even a feeling of not this is this.
I'd like to share something along those lines. So I had an, an experience this week where the me was, quote, trampled upon, invaded, trampled upon. And for a few days, I just wanted to clear my reputation. My character was slandered. Okay. And so I this was all seen, and I just wanted to shake it. Like it just kept, I would ride the bike and there it comes and I let it go. And whatever I do, it just keeps coming back. And there used to be the expectation that if this was any good, what we're talking about here, quote, quote unquote, I should not have these experiences. These experiences are a proof that whatever, this should be good for here, that should no longer happen. Now, so all I'm going to leave it at saying, I don't believe that now. I realize that whatever happened, went down this week, that's this. And I mean, that's as far as I get with it. That maybe I'm not, chewing on it for the rest of my life or another week or two, but things come and go, and they happen, and they are whatever they are. And this isn't going to fix anything, as you said earlier, Michael. This isn't fixing this stuff.
No, no, because wholeness doesn't need to be fixed. That's an imagining. But a dream can feel real. It can, it's quite convincing.
It almost feels like a double life. I sit here and this is all handy dandy, no problem. Just breathe and, it's all this and it's all good. And then I have like, I'm moonlighting, as a me in everyday life, and somebody presses a button and I go like, I run the clown show.
You you do?
Well, as a matter of speaking.
What? See, that's the dream of doership
Yes.
that
Yes.
I do. So if I do, then I cannot do, right? If I eat that package of cookies at, 1 in the morning, the whole bag, well,
Yeah, good point, Michael. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, so not doing is much the same as doing, or is the same as doing. Doing, not doing, same thing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I, I, I've been under the illusion that not doing, yeah, not doing was something different from doing. Oh, the opposite. Oh well, yeah, but I think what I'm beginning to see is that they're both the same. They're both doing. They're doing of some sort, aren't they? There's the doing or the not doing, and they're both about, and they're both the doing sort of activity. Yeah.
Well, yeah, we could say there's the appearance of doing. It appears, but this actually never moves.
Yeah. Yeah. So this, so this that never moves incorporates doing and not doing.
Well, it doesn't incorporate because it doesn't move.
Well, okay, in my head it does.
Because it's well, well, because well, yeah, because that's where time is. Time is in the dream, so you could imagine anything.
Yeah.
The suffering is the me takes the dream as real. It's my
Yeah.
dream, my life. I gotta,
Yeah.
exert as much control as I possibly can. I know I don't have all control, but I'm going to try and use it wisely. It's a joke. If there was any control at all, you wouldn't suffer. There'd be no, you'd be able to do something about it. It's just this somehow, there can be a sadness, I guess. I hear stories from some people like Tim Kliss and others that talk about a sadness when this is seen. But anything can arise. It doesn't have to be sad. Like here it was quite joyous. It wasn't sad. It was the resonance here was kind of a happy joy. Oh, so it's everything. There was a resonance that, oh, it's everything means everything, no matter what it is.
I'd share a faith that usually the me is in either past or future. And when you're thinking of doing or not doing or doing, that's now or future without the past. And there's no time, of course, like Michael said.
Well, you can't find a doer. You
And
just
no
can't.
doing.
I mean, you can imagine it, but the idea that I'm doing this. See, for me, it's all about not this. Me is, you could say, is the energy of rejection of this for something else. That energy of constantly just this isn't it. I'm not there yet. So that's the cosmic joke, if you will, that the freedom can absolutely appear limited and not free and seeking. There's no explanation for any of this. Or as Nkosi says, this is shameless. Like nothing is out of bounds for this. It's not a human. And often we think of ourselves, because we've been taught it, that, oh, I know what I am. I'm a human being. Well, I mean, really, saying I'm a human being is like saying I'm a tree, like this body's just a fancy tree, that can seem to move around. But the tree is an appearance and the body's an appearance. It's the same appearance. They're not separate. It's not two appearances.
And the tree isn't thinking, and neither is the person. There's no thinker.
Yeah, yeah, you can't find a thinker. There seem to be thoughts, appearance of thoughts, seemingly, but see if you can find the thinker. Because that's what you mistook yourself for. It's assumed. It's that persistent assumption. Oh, these are my thoughts. Again, the ownership. It's it's so innocent. This is so innocent.
Can you say a little bit more about that, Michael, about innocence?
Yeah. Think of a baby, right? Aren't babies innocent? Like
Yeah.
everybody, right? All babies. It doesn't have to be human. A baby giraffe, a baby dog, a baby bear. All babies are in. They just because they're clueless. They don't have labels. They don't know what anything is. They don't know who you are. But there seems to be this dream that just, what can be said about it? And suddenly there's separation, apparently. But the innocence never went anywhere. That baby's innocence is still here right now. It's what's looking out the eyes without the story. So every sound is it, every bird chirp, every cough, every twitch of the body. That's why you can't find it. How do you find everywhere? It doesn't even make sense. Excuse me, Alice, I'm looking for everywhere. Could you tell me how to get there? Like to keep some of that? The baby doesn't know anything. It doesn't have knowing. That's, that's why they're so darn lovable and cute. This pure innocence. But that, again, it hasn't gone anywhere. It's just now people seemingly interact on, what they see visually. So they see separation, so they assume that one's separate from me. But separation is imagined. There just simply isn't any separation. I mean, what is separate from what? It's just a thought or a feeling. And just what's happening. It's not, it's funny. The feeling of separation isn't any more special than any other feeling. Anon, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I just was saying hi.
And Michael, who would be feeling it?
Exactly. It's assumed to be me. That's the assumption until it's actually looked for. So the feeling can be there. Whatever it is as it is. It's just not yours. So whatever brought it will take it. I was watching the clouds today in the sky when I was teaching at a school, and it's located kind of in the foothills of Santa Monica Mountains, and everything's moving. The clouds were moving, the wind was, the trees, everything's just like a living painting. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's what we think of as alive when it's moving. And what we think of as dead is when something stops moving. So this, what we're speaking of, is neither. It's neither movement nor not movement. So it's not in time. It's not in life and death. Time is a concept. You can't find it. So are dates. And Kosi and I did the one Sunday night. And listen, it was late Sunday night here, but it's already Monday for him. So for me, it was the 22nd, but for him, it was the 23rd. So, like, what's the right date?
Mhm.
We were both there at the same time. I went with Nkosi's. Yeah. But it shows you how ridiculous these ideas are that we're holding them as real, that there really is a right date that meeting Zoom, and I had to figure, no, it doesn't matter.
And in Hollywood, Halloween's every day.
It is. It's just this big costume party. And when that is seen by no one, when you it's recognized, that's the resonance. When it's recognized that it is a costume party, and it's the same one playing all the parts. So all the talking, whatever's talking here, will then be talking there. And then this one will be listening, which is the same one listening now. Like the idea of holding on. So I can remember, especially when I was a kid and in love with the first girlfriend at camp, and every smell, and this was our spot where we sat, and these were the songs, and oy vey. I mean, there was this whole like nostalgic, lovey, like even had the song Beach Baby. It was like our and it feels so real. And it really feels like there was someone there that had that experience, and then there's someone that's trying to hold on to that experience. And it can be the same even with an awakening. Somebody says, oh, I've had an awakening and I'm trying to get it back. Well, that was all figment of imagination. Nobody had an awakening. Nobody is going to get it back. There is no one already. Nobody had a date with the girl at camp. Nobody did that. It just has been empty from the get-go. There was just no one there recording anything. It's like everything's one and done. It's like this moment is just here and gone. Everything was always here and gone. There was never anything to hold on to.
How can it be here and gone?
It's just figure of speech.
Okay.
Just meaning ungraspable.
Thank you.
Because like as me, it felt like the more info I could grasp, the better. The more aware I was, the sin in the room and how big it was and where she sat and what she smelled like and all that somehow seemed important. Like I'm getting to know life. I'm really there. I'm being with what is a really deep way. But there's already nobody there to do that. There's just what seems to be happening.
The question is, so it seems to be happening. Is it, or seems like it might, I could say it's happening for no one. It's happening in the no separation. So that it is happening, but for no one. That's it. It's happening for no one.
Mhm.
as opposed to, if I'm hearing this right, like it, quote, didn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. Well, just this right here, this little Zoom meeting. This is it. This is the whole universe. This is everything as a Zoom meeting. There is nothing else unless you go to thought or imagination. But it's always been just what's happening. And then there seemed to be this overlay of past and memories in my life. And this happened when I was, mom and like that. Those seem very real. So they're kind of held on to as dear and precious, but they can they can also be seen through and realized there never was anyone. Like that voice in the head was just a voice in the head. It wasn't you.
So still a little confused then. In your camp experience or my camp experience, I'll go back to mine. Did it happen?
It appeared to, like a dream. It appeared, right? It appeared.
I mean, did all the energy, it's all energy, right? And so all the energy at the time that it, to put it in time when I was in camp, the energy, the one energy with no separation formed the formed that situation, but and there was no me there.
Mhm.
I go there and there's no me to even talk about it now, but I'm still thinking that, but it did, the energy did form in that very particular way at that time, and then whoosh, like you said, or something, then gone for no one, though, for no one, for no experience, for no love, for no breakup, for none of that, all that story that we put on top of it, but that it did happen.
Well, the reason I say apparently is because who is there to say it happened?
So no one, but that doesn't mean it didn't happen. So I'm just happened for no one, but it did happen for no one.
Yeah, happening for no one.
Yeah. So like this is happening for no one right now. We're given the Zoom meeting.
Isn't that wild?
It's,
That's what I mean. That's why the magic, when you all that story bullshit that you think is so important, you realize, holy shit, this is amazing. Look at this. Like, how is this happening? Forget your laundry list of wants and shoulds. How about this moment? Let's start here.
it's lovely to know that all these bizarre thoughts that I'm having right now, real negative, evil thoughts about people, are not mine.
Yeah.
That's like,
Yeah. Okay,
what,
Don,
love
bingo.
it.
Okay, that's great because that's the shameless. Like all those disgusting, dirty, horrible, violent, vicious, sexual, I mean, depraved, you know, the whole gamut. It's just,
I mean, I keep saying they're not mine. I mean, they're just not mine. They seem to appear, but they're not mine. It's like, that's just cool. That's just really cool.
yeah. Sometimes Nkosi will talk about just staying here. Like he'll talk maybe with Alice sometimes and just stay here. And what he means is like the clouds I saw today in the sky, I could see them moving. The thoughts will move on their own. So you don't need to do anything, which is, quite surprising if you just sit here and see that they move on, feelings, aches, pains, all of it. Do nothing. Something's doing it, but and then when you look for the something that's doing it, yeah. It's fun because now the stories that used to seem so heavy, like it's fine. And you don't even care if the person believes their story or not. Who cares? It's fine. They're enjoying telling it, they're into it, or they're angry and they're into that. But if you travel lighter, that's all that matters. I travel, it's just so obvious now that it's all a story. And so all stories are free to be what they are. So they don't really, again, you're here, so the story will come and go. Doesn't actually touch this. Say that time doesn't touch the timeless. And I can also say that the why questions that continually nag the sense of a separate me, that also seems to go away. Because there is no why, there's just what's happening. You can discuss why as a story, but it's seen as a story and not held as the truth. The truth.
I
Why
think
is-
it's, oh, sorry, go on.
I was just going to say that why is very popular, and it invariably triggers a story, and it seems like to me really feeds on the why. It just wants to know, why did you do that? Why is this happening to me? Why? It's very, very popular. And then, as soon as it has a reason, as a story, when a story is given, then okay, then it's quiet for a while, and then another thing pops up, and then why that?
Yeah.
Anyhow, Faith, you were going to say something.
I was just going to say that I think it's the why stories that have led me here. The why stories can be, well, I suppose they're a form of seeking. And because I've been a why person, more so than others, maybe, I haven't been able to rest until I get to here.
Yeah, in a story, I know what you mean.
Mm.
You could say that as a story.
Yeah, just that the why stories have led me to here. If I wasn't asking so many why stories, I wouldn't be in this sort of a meeting.
And I think Michael often starts these sessions that these meetings are not gonna help with the why, that this isn't what's gonna be offered.
No, but in not helping, it does help somehow.
You've
I
been
would
no
add just,
help. You've been no help whatsoever. Thank you so much. Go ahead, Leighton.
I would add, you take out all three W's: what, where, and why, along with that, not just why.
Yeah.
And all
What about
questions,
who?
actually, all questions.
What about
Yeah.
who?
Who too?
Michael, you brought up traveling lighter, and it's, coming to spaces like this is one of the things that allows that to happen for me. Otherwise, the duality I'm constantly having the duality of whether I'm trying to control things or negate things or fix things. I'm a fixer. Peter, thank you for what you brought, because I'm experiencing what you described today with regards to the I'm going to call it character assassination or group assassination. And so when you talked about that, it's I want to try and fix or change people's opinions, of stuff like that. And I get caught into that to the point where that duality thing comes in. And so when I come to a space like this, it brings me to that traveling lighter, because I get to be present. I get to be the knowing, but it's almost like I expand. And I think it was Don that talked about energy. And that's what it was for me. I feel this power, this energy that gets, I don't know if it's released or if it's brought to whatever this is. It's yeah. So thank you for the space.
I appreciate you, Peter. I just feel that when we share these life's experiences, even though they're stories, I find it really helpful in terms of relating. And it makes me feel more endeared that I'm not alone. Anyway, thank you, Peter. I don't know if I described what you said, but that's the way I interpreted it.
Well, thank you, Alice. And Rick too. I'm glad that you could relate. And I just have a short addendum. The freedom that comes out of what's offered or what's seen is, I had the impression, when I felt like I was slandered and they got it all wrong, I thought the solution is to go and convince them that I got it wrong. And so what happened now, looking at it as a story, it really exists just here, and it doesn't have to be fixed out there. And that's the thing about nothing needs to be done. It really, it can just drop away and it's fine. So there's a certain, the traveling lighter comes with that. That feels lighter.
Yeah, there can be a sense with the me of wanting to tie up like loose ends, or I think Landon talked about this last week, like, there's just a feeling I gotta fix something, like before I can get there, like before I'm enlightened, there's something off, needs correction. And the sharing here is that's all, that too is story. That there's already no one there to do or have or become. It's just all imagined. Like nothing's gonna happen. Nothing's coming. Maybe you'll hear non-duality speakers talk about there's no hope. That's what they mean. The me is just banking on a better tomorrow, a better future. I'm just, my enlightenment's coming. I know I'm getting closer. But the message here is ain't nothing coming. There's just this, and this is everything. This is enough. This is your enlightenment. Your enlightenment's already here, but it's not for you. You can't have it. Like it's not personal. It's just, there's just everything. So there's not you in everything. There's just everything. And again, there's just no knowing of anything. So I just never know if Nkosi is going to show up or not. If he does, it'll be wonderful. All time with Nkosi is good time. But if he doesn't show, that's just this too. It's perfect. Him not coming is perfect because there's just what's apparently happening. the dream, the me thinks it could be some other way.
He could be with us 5 minutes, it would seem like 2 hours.
It's like the mind is always waiting for that like aha moment
Hmm,
or like a light bulb going off in the mind.
yeah.
And then the disappointment is apparently that there is no light bulb moment coming. And that just like you said, that it's just this. I can see how like you were saying that that can be depressing in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. And those light bulb moments can seem real at the time, you know, big, oh, so, there's something you think you got that you didn't have before. So it does give the illusion, and you could feel good for a couple hours, you know. But the thing was, it never lasted. It was, I had to go read more. It just, it was still dependent on a feeling. And what we're talking about isn't dependent on anything. So it doesn't care. It doesn't matter the feeling. It doesn't matter the mood. A depression is just as much this as a joy. They're not two different things.
The lights are on and nobody's home,
Yeah.
apparently.
Yeah. I mean, it's complete wildness. That's what the me can't handle. It's just completely uncontrollable chaos. Did I win $100? Any last comments or questions before we close out this evening?
I got one question. So if it's uncontrollable chaos, is it that because we try to control it and we can't, therefore it's described as uncontrollable chaos? But if we didn't try to control it, then could it be not uncontrollable chaos, but something I'll just call more divine if we didn't mess with it?
Who's the
hypothetical.
chaos for?
A hypothetical is always a story. Definitely doesn't exist.
What doesn't exist? I'm
A
sorry.
hypothetical, is a story, and any answer to it is meaningless. Because your mind is making up a hypothetical, and
Yeah, it's not going anywhere. It's a red herring. Those thoughts that seem important, like they're asking really, amazing questions. It's still this. It's always going to be this. No matter how it appears, no matter the question, no matter the intensity, because there's just this, and that can resonate, and that's it. You're done. If it resonates, if all is this somehow is like, of course. There's no understanding. There's can't understand all of this.
And I think, Don, if we were to give you an answer, it might satisfy you nicely for a couple of hours, as Michael said. But go away, you'll have to pop up with another one. That's the way my mind goes.
Yeah, good faith. Yeah, it's endless. And so that can be noticed by no one, that those questions are endless. The whatever is doing that doesn't need to stop. It doesn't have to stop. But you see that those questions aren't actually leading anywhere. You haven't advanced. It gives the illusion of, oh, if I could just get a little more information and, you know, get a handle on it. That's all imagined. You can't get it. There's no getting a handle. There's no one to get a handle. There's just what seems to be appearing. End of story.
Because what we're trying to do here is build a story of uncontrollability. I mean, that's what Don, that's what you were suggesting. Like, what would it be if it was uncontrollable? But there's already, it's a story of how it would be, what it would be, this uncontrollability. But that's not, uncontrollability is not a story. If it's a story, then there's a person there who's seeing it, and that person is controlling. The person is always controlling. It's always looking at the story as a way of controlling. So the uncontrollability, if this is just uncontrollability, it isn't really uncontrollability, right? It isn't anything. It isn't anything that can be said. It doesn't have a story.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, that's a story too. So there's no escape. That's what we got, is we got stories. But the traveling lighter is seeing that they're just stories.
Yeah, it's the difference between a story for no one and a story for the one who is looking at the story and then trying to see what it is, how it is, what it means. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, everybody.
Wonderful meeting, Michael.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks,
you, everyone.
guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Night.
Bye.